providing you with information that will allow you to not only obtain but also maintain your economic liberation. That's how we do it right here in the Classroom Without Walls radio podcast. And now, family members, and I'm running out of time, I'm going to go overtime because I have some very, very deep information that I want to give you. Deep information I want to leave you with. Deals with the hidden hand. Deals with Big Brother. Deals with what is known as the deep state. But we're going to empower you with the way and means of getting PAID from this situation. Now, you probably heard of the term, quote unquote, the deep state, as it is thrown around in the media, okay, and it has really been thrown around over the last several months. But what is this ominous, mysterious force exactly? Well, the idea is pretty simple and pretty terrifying at the same time, no matter which side of the aisle you think of as your ideological home. You see, Washington, D.C., and oh, by the way, everything I'm about to tell you, everything I'm about to present to you, I want you to Google it. I want you to go back and check. Trust but verify. Because some of you will say, oh, this is some crazy wild conspiracy. No. I'm going to present you some information. Whether or not you want to believe it or not doesn't necessarily make it any more or less true. It is what it is, and it's verifiable. Then we're going to show you how to get PAID from the information I'm about to say to you. Now, Washington, D.C., the nerve center of the federal government, is actually divided into two distinct entities. One is the highly visible and often talked about entity, while the other operates from the shadows and is traditionally only discussed by people who become labeled, quote-unquote, conspiracy theorists, end quote. But in the last several years, the ideal that there is an all-knowing, all-seeing, shadowy government out there operating outside of the constitutional limits has gained popularity with the mainstream. Now, as is the case with all good conspiracy theories, this one that I'm about to give you has a way of supporting itself, even in the absence of concrete evidence that the president, Congress, and everyone else we've elected is really just the hand puppet of a higher power. In this case, lack of evidence in the minds of believers is just evidence that operators of the deep state are extremely good at what they do. Not all evidence, however, is lacking. Regardless of its nature, positive or sinister, any sort of behind-the-scenes society within the federal government would have to have priority access to relevant information on potential threats. It would have to be the most active intelligence gathering agency in the world. Evidence of this is extremely abundant. Case in point. Just 3 years ago, the NSA opened a data center outside of Bluffdale, Utah, with a rumored capacity big enough to store up to 1 gigabyte of data, or the equivalent of about 5,000 novel linked documents on a typical word processor, on each and every man, woman, and child living in the world, not just the United States, in the world, in 2017. The place opened in 2014, and despite the latest efficiency and green design, it still racked up $40 million last year in energy cost. That's the price, you see, of running as many as 1 million Intel Xeon core processors simultaneously around the clock and storing data measured in exabytes. That's billions of gigabytes. Now, just like the deep state, which supposedly does things like swing elections and make politicians become selected versus elected, influencing leaders and control policies from behind a veil of secrecy, the visible benefits of costly installations like this don't need to be evident to be believable. The Utah data center, just like everything else the NSA does, is done in the name of what? National security. Now, there have been dozens of successful foiled terrorist conspiracies since 2001, the details of which are often never offered, nor required by the general public. We understand the need for secrecy, and most of us don't want to let and be exposed to all the gory details, okay? Ironically, though, it is this very mass sedation, if you will, that has allowed billions to be spent by our own government on infrastructure designed to primarily spy on its own people, its own citizens. Now let me give you some proof, okay? Trust but verify. That's what we always say here at the Atwwi Wealth Institute. Please research and Google everything I'm about to say. You think that I'm paranoid? You think others that have access to this information is paranoid? Well, get a load of this. In March of last year, 2016, the FAA published a report stating that the United States airspace was already infested with no fewer than 2.5 million drones. I said 2.5 million drones, the biggest, most expensive, and most capable of which were property of the federal government. Check it yourself. The report went on to say that by 2020, the number should hit 7 million, with the biggest operators including state, federal, and local police and security agencies. They would be the biggest operators. Now, with that much data streaming in from that many different points of reference, just from active physical surveillance, it's no wonder that the NSA has to build hard drives the sizes of small cities just to manage all that data. And don't you dare forget all the information coming in based on passive screening and filtrations, okay, for things like the right or wrong keyword search string, or the right browsing history, or the right degree of separation from a person of interest. You see, family, so much data concentrated in just one spot, available only to a select group of individuals within the federal government, unelected, I might add. And the theory of the deep state is no longer so far-fetched. A natural evolution of the information-rich environment that the internet has given to us. There's nothing that can be done to stem this collection and potential implementation of intrusively acquired evidence against whomever the powers that be deem important enough. Now, in terms of the market that it drives, however, what we can say, what we can see from an investment standpoint, well, one thing is for sure. The need for more storage will grow, and rapidly. Pick and shovel mentality and ideology. From the standpoint of the NSA and from mathematical reality, it would be ideal to track everyone at all times. That's from the NSA standpoint. But given that ultimate goal, legal or illegal, the agency's demand for more data storage may never ever be fully met. And who will supply the hardware that goes into the giant installation? Pick and shovel mentality and ideology. Well, that list of suspects is far less covert than the activities going on within. Write this down. Once again, who will supply the hardware that goes into these giant installations? Try this on for size. Cisco Systems, symbol CSCO. HP, symbol HPQ. And another big candidate to supply the all-important servers will be what? Intel, which I spoke about earlier, symbol INTC. And Intel is going for the processing power. Another potential winner in this space to build the biggest data dump in history may just be Google, symbol GOOG. You see, designers of their own servers since 2005, Google has been purportedly in cahoots with the NSA for years thanks to its dominant market in the search engine arena. Now, other companies that control major data nexus include what? Facebook, symbol FB, and Microsoft, symbol MSFT. Now, these are larger corporations that provide and oversee major aspects of your social networking and other online activities. And if you're asking yourself, why would they bother sharing information you offered up voluntarily with secretive government agencies, the answer is, why wouldn't they?